Okay, our next deal of the month. Al Garcia has been a member of CFRI for about 18 months. He was excited to share this deal. He's been a broker for a long time, but he's never done this type of deal before. So let's welcome Al Garcia.
All right, so yeah, this deal came to me. It was a non-owner occupied. People lived outside the state. Do I go right into it?
Yeah.
And basically, after making tons of phone calls, we run into some deals like this. This particular property, it didn't look at all like this in the beginning, and there was a hole in the roof, and the carpet smelled like pee, and it just the seller just wanted it out. So basically,
Al, can you just hold it closer to your mouth? That'd be great.
So basically, the numbers made sense. The reason why I think this is the deal of the month is simply because I got in it with zero money in. I didn't try to go for the deed because I didn't want to have the double expense of closing, and then the closing cost, and as well, I just went into it with a lease option with a the 6-month term with the possibility of, if I needed more time, I would just extend.
So the seller agreed to allow you to lease the property from her with an option to purchase it, and how much did you have to pay for that lease option?
Nothing. I just told her that the advantage to her is that I would be paying the rent that she was receiving, so until I finish repairs and I would find a buyer, and we just had to agree on a price. She was into it for $135. She said she just wanted out, just give her $135. I went through the house. I told her we couldn't do the $135. The best I could do is $125, and I was willing to walk away. So we went back and forth. She said she was agreed to take a $10,000 loss, and came to the table with the $10,000 plus her closing costs. Was the deal.
That's a big deal, right? Right. Having a seller agree that they're going to bring $10,000 to pay down the mortgage for you to resell that house.
Right, they just wanted out. It was, you have before pics, but basically it needed, I only put $14K in. I wasn't even going to put that much. I was going to put 10 and just put some paint, some lipstick, and just get rid of it. But we decided to do the floors, and they look pretty damn good, don't they?
They look nice, yeah.
So basically, it was lots of dog pee, because I had 2-3 dogs in there, and I'm not sure if it was worse than cat pee.
Okay, so, and into the rehab, what happened during the rehab that wasn't so great?
Yeah, probably the one thing I would do differently is always put an alarm system in, because we had the appliance goblins, demons, come by and take all my appliances.
And you had a realtor lockbox on it, right?
Right, I had a realtor lockbox. The realtor lockbox was taken, and the realtor that showed up that morning, frankly, I got 2 or 3 offers the same day or second day out of having it on the market. And the realtor that ended up with the deal was actually the person that alerted me that the house was broken into and the appliances were gone. And his client ended up buying the house even under those conditions.
And how fast did you end up closing?
So I had a number of different offers. I took this offer because it was a conventional loan, and I didn't want to deal with, in case I had to do a double closing, I didn't want to deal with the flip situation, so I only went for conventional. So I had it on the market for $199. I sold at $190, and they were able to close in about 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks. So that's all it took.
Awesome. So you had no money out of your pocket, but you did agree to a monthly payment to her, correct?
Right. So then the monthly payment, but I wrote it up so that I wasn't going to start paying the monthly payment until 30 days after I had possession. So I actually didn't have to make any monthly payments and to her except for 1 month, which I ended up paying for PayPal.
And you had said to me, which we didn't cover yet, that originally when you first talked to the seller, you were trying to wholesale the deal. And what happened when you talked to members of CFRI to try to wholesale it? What happened?
That's right. I tried a few different people who.
Hold the microphone up a little bit. Thanks.
At first, I was just going to not get into it. It was December when I found the deal, and I put it on an agreement, and I didn't find anyone interested in working this deal. So then we just decided that we were going to get one of our. We realized that it needed about $10-15K in repairs, And, but everyone I talked to at CFRI and outside of CFRI, different people who buy in the neighborhood, I contacted them who had purchased cash, and nobody wanted to touch it, and we just decided we were just going to do it ourselves. But I don't own a hammer, so I have a couple of handymen that I've used in the past that have fixed houses for me when things needed to get done for other listings type thing.
Awesome. Anything you would have done differently besides the alarm?
Yes, something else I would have done differently was I wouldn't make this mistake is I left myself exposed, so I have a lease option. So I would have put a memorandum of option or put some kind of notice on public records to cover myself so that she couldn't take a loan against it until I closed. So it would be some kind of cloud on a title is what you got to do, because I easily left myself open that if she wanted to, she could have sold the property out from under me probably.
But you had a relationship with
Right, we
her,
had a
you
good
were comfortable.
relationship, and I had an attorney involved, and she already signed lots of documents. She agreed to do a land trust. So there was a lot going on, and they were good folks. And right to the end, she even liked the work that I did on the grass, the inside, the paint. It was just a good relationship.
Excellent.
So I didn't feel I needed to do that, but I wouldn't do it without it next time.
Excellent. Give Al a big hand, and we're going to ask him some questions. Yep. Congratulations. Any questions for Al? I have one. So how did you find the seller to begin with? Because I thought this was a little different.
Right, so I concentrate on...
Hold the mic up.
No,
Thanks.
I concentrate on out-of-state owners, and like I found one today that I guess we were talking about.
But so you mail to out-of-state owners?
Oh, I see. I do the mailings, but I don't, because mailings are pretty pricey. I get them on the phone first, so I do a lot of...
You call them yourself? You
No.
call all the out-of-state owners yourself?
I have a virtual assistant out of the Philippines that uses Mojo and does a lot of dialing. It's a triple dialer Mojo, and she probably makes 1,000 calls a day for me.
Okay, so that she forwarded the call to you when she found out the
So
seller?
yes, I only talk to people when they raise their hand and they say they're interested in selling.
Excellent. Any other questions?
Right in the back, Robin.
Yes, in the back. I'll run. Where do you get your out-of-state owners list from?
I don't buy an out-of-state owners list. I simply use MLS has a feature where it has you can actually play around with IMAP. If you're familiar, if you have a realtor, your realtor can get you something like that, and I run it through a software called Retriever, and other than that, I have another software just kind of picks up on the phone numbers, and there's different ways to get the phone numbers and skip tracing on a bulk basis as opposed to doing it one at a time. So then my assistants do all of that as well. They get the numbers, and then we only send postcards to those people who have raised their hands. So we send 5 postcards, at least 5 touches, so we feel that we don't go in for an offer until we have at least 5 to 7 touches, 5 to 7 contacts.
Excellent. Okay, well, if you have other questions for Al, he'll be roaming around at break, right? Thanks very much, Al.